Hey guys, I'm Rachel,
And I'm Rebecca,
and this is the Faith Found Sisters podcast, and today we are
discussing Proverbs 4.
So go ahead and read Proverbs 4 and come back for the discussion. So would you like to go ahead and get started?
Yes. I found in verses 1 through 4 that to always listen to those in authority because they have the experience and the same things that you might be going through. They have more experience than you because they've already been through it. And they can help you, like, don't go, if they don't want you to go that way, so they'll direct you to go another way that'll lead you to success instead of going the same way and falling to the same pit of sin or whatever the problem is.
Mm-hmm. That's very true, and it's really like your parents, especially because, you know, they're able to tell you more than other people. So it's important to listen to them as well as your authorities because, like Rebecca said, they have experience and knowledge. So that knowledge will be helpful for you, and they can use their experiences to help you not to make mistakes or to tell you what to do. And moving on in verses 5 through 9, when we apply knowledge, it becomes wisdom. It's a very important thing to know what wisdom is, and I always say it's just the application of knowledge. Because, you know, if you go to school or you learn things, that's knowledge. But until you apply that, it's just knowledge. When you apply it, it becomes wisdom. And it says that wisdom is here to help preserve and keep us. And it gives a lot of good attributes later on as well, so as to what wisdom does.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that it keeps us safe and protects us. Because when we know, wisdom, it keeps us from getting into sin and just directs us on God's path. And when we seek wisdom from the Bible, we'll be directed to go on God's path and not our own.
I agree.
And then I found in verse 8 that I'll just read it really quickly. Exalt her and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. It's talking about wisdom there. And it's talking that when you honor and you obey the wisdom that you've learned in here, that she'll promote thee and she'll bring thee to honor, and that you'll reap the fruits of using that wisdom, and that you will just reap the fruits and get gifts from that.
Mm-hmm. And to just add about that, I wrote down that it will always bring out the better in us, because when our wisdom is used for God, it's always going to bring out the good side in us. It'll make us happier and better people, and it'll make those around us feel happier because we are using God's wisdom. And in verse 10 through 13, I wrote down that a father is addressing the son, and it's kind of connecting verses 1 through 9, because in the first few verses it's like a direction, and then 5 through 9 is pretty much like the wisdom in and of itself. But 10 through 13 is connecting all that and kind of making it one thing that's easier to understand, because listening to your parents will help you later in life.
Yeah, I agree with that, because they've been almost through everything that we've been before, but we don't really see that. We just see what's right in front of us, but they see the big picture. So it's always good to ask your parents for advice or wisdom or direction when you don't know what to do in life. And always seek God and the Bible, and your parents will have wisdom that they can show you the direction that you need to go.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to go ahead and read verse 11 real quick. It says, I have taught thee in the way of wisdom. I have led thee in the right path. Like I said, it's a father addressing a son, and it's stating that, you know, a father has done this for his son. You know, we should be thanking our parents when they teach us something, because, you know, they took time enough to care for us, like our Heavenly Father cares for us and cares for his children. And it's important to show that admiration and compassion to others around you as well.
Yeah, and I found in 13 through 15, just like the overwhelming theme of wisdom is life. You'll see this throughout all the videos we do on Proverbs, that wisdom, it'll be equal to life, and that you'll find that it'll just protect you and keep you pure. and I just found it through those. And then it goes through 15 through 19 that some of the sins that if we didn't take wisdom we would fall into, and that if we learn from the wisdom of our parents and the wisdom of God, that we'll be directed on God's path, and that we'll be walking straight, not falling into the sin that verses 15 through 19 tells.
Because, you know, the wicked are always looking for a way to do wrong or to make a Christian's walk harder than it should be. Because if we were all Christians, life would be so easy, or if salvation was easy, everyone would do it. But God brings trials like people into our lives because he wants us to be better and to have a better faith. And although you may not understand it, that's why he brings those trials and that pain, because in the end it'll better you. And, you know, even though the wicked will continue to do that, you'll be a better person in the end.
Yeah, there's a verse in, I think it's Hebrews, let me look real quick. Verse that it says, wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. And that's kind of like taking the wisdom, because if we stand in our own knowledge and our own pride, we're going to be able to fall at any time. But continuing that there's no temptation taken you but such is common to man, but God is faithful, will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but with the temptation also make a way of escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So God, even though he's going to bring this trial into your life to humble you and to see and help you see his picture, he's going to make a way for you to escape it. He's not going to just like trap you in a room and he's not going to let you out at all or give you a way to escape. He's going to give you a way to escape. If you search for him, he's going to make that escape and that route more easier for you. If you go in your own knowledge, you're just going to be trapped in that room and not see the way out of that trial that you might be facing.
Because I know our family has done escape rooms a few times, and it's not the best example, but you know, in an escape room there is always a way out. You have to be looking for it though. So like if you're in a trial or something, you have to be looking for God, because he is your way out. And there's a song I listen to that God will make this trial a blessing. I'm pretty sure it's by Golden State College. It's a really good song, and I definitely recommend you listening to it. It's a good song. But I agree, you know, God will always provide a way for you to escape those trials.
And then I found in verse 20 that it just kind of repeats this theme that if we listen to our parents and apply the knowledge that they have, that it will walk in the way that they show us. And that's kind of with God. Even if you don't have parents, if you're walking with God, you're going to be walking straight, and he has much more wisdom. He created us. He knows our life plan. So if we ask him for wisdom and direction, he's going to show us, and he's just going to keep us on that straight path and help us through trials that we might be able to face. And if we don't acknowledge him and use the wisdom that he has for us, we're going to fall and keep falling into sin that on our own wisdom we can't get out of.
And you know, I was just writing down that you know, in English we were always taught like our imperative verbs, and it's an understood you. So it's like it's always just an action first, and then there's an understood you. And there's a lot of that, especially from verse 23 and on. It says, put away the froward mouth, the perverse lips, let thine eyes look right on, ponder the path of thy feet, turn not. You know, it's a lot of direction and instruction. And it's not, you know, some Christians just want to bend the rules or make it their own way. You know, what God says is the truth, because all of this is given by inspiration of God, and the inspiration is God breathed. So this is what God is saying to us. It's not something man wrote down that we can bend. It is what God said, and he's given it to us so we can learn about it and choose to follow it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. That it's in verse 27 that to turn not to the right hand or to the left, remove thy foot from evil. Kind of what Rachel's saying with the imperative. He's commanding, just that it's imperative verb, that it's kind of commanding us to not turn to the right or the left, not to look like Peter did when he was walking on the water. He looked at other things and he got distracted, and so that's when he started sinking. So if we look to the right or the left, we're going to fall into evil and we're going to fall into sin. But looking to Jesus and just looking straight at God and what he wants us to look at, we're going to be walking with him, and we're not going to fall when we do that.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Proverbs 4 is really good. It is more like a instructional wisdom, like the first few chapters. But I feel like this one's a lot of father to son, not just a father to son. This one's more like, a parent to a child, or like the Heavenly Father to us. That's what it feels like in this chapter. So.
And he just, like Rachel said, a Heavenly Father, he would put this in here because he wants us to walk with him. He wouldn't have not put this in here to because he loves us so much. He put this in here so we can always walk with him, and that we can always trust him. And then in the verses that it shows the sin, it shows us what we would be doing if we're not following with him. And he's trying to show us both sides instead of being one-sided and showing us everything good. He's showing us both sides so we can know the consequences of our actions if we decide to do right or if we decide to do wrong.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I think that's all we have right now. So see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.